Hey, good morning everybody. Sarasota Tim coming to you from the University Shopping Center area. My gym is across the street and I had to run into Target here for a couple of things, and I thought I'd make a morning chat right out here. So this is the area that I did the, where all the Christmas lights are that I did last night. And I want to start off by saying that I appreciate all the comments last night that enjoyed it, and I'm terribly sorry that there wasn't any audio. I did upload the video two different ways. One with full audio, and it was immediately struck down. And the second one, when I was able to speak across the street over there and saying that I'm probably going to have to mute the whole video, but I did want to show you the lights. So it's really a pain in the butt when you want a video around this area. I can hear the music. That's why I'm parked out here, away from the Target. These speakers, and I was trying to say that in the video last night when I was walking down this street, there are these speakers that are hooded. There's got to be hundreds of them. You can't walk 20 feet and you pick up the next speaker. And they play it loud, and it's all around this shopping area. It's just all part of how they built the place and for entertainment. But let me tell you something, folks. It's all good music and it's fun to walk around and hear it, but it's certainly not music that I can put on YouTube. I read some comments about adding music. I've never done that in my life, where I mute a video and add music. That could have been okay. I've watched videos where people do that, but you got all these different tunes that you got to sort through and find the one that's appropriate. And look, my main goal was to show you some lights. And so there it is. I'm sorry. If it did not allow a copyright problem, we would have heard Jingle Bells and all the popular music tunes. And man, they were blasting it. I don't even know if I had my mic on, if that would have blocked any of it out. Maybe I'll try it again. But I'm getting ready to blow out of here. Moving on, baby. Moving on. I voted for the convicted felon. Well, I got some comments on this shirt last night. Yeah, I'm wearing the same shirt. I wore it just an hour last night. I got a shower. I came out, made the video. The shirt is still clean. I threw it on this morning because I'm getting ready to go sweat and lift. And yesterday, I almost hurt myself in a good way. I did some lifting. I'm using free weights only. And I don't know, it wasn't really a back exercise, but my back is hurting. I took a 650 milligram Tylenol a little while ago, and I'm hoping that it'll start to work on me because my back is killing me. So what's going on today? What are we doing? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now that this here is a badass truck. This is the XL Ford entry-level work truck with the STX package. So I've got about 1,100 miles on her now, and I'm getting ready to take a cross-country trip. So I started getting these ideas in my mind. What do I need to do? So I'm reading your comments, and we got into an oil thing already on the transmission fluid on the Tundra. It's a very controversial topic about what type, regular or synthetic, unless you have to use synthetic, how often, and all this stuff. I mean, it is a very controversial topic. But let me just tell you this. With 1,100 miles on it, I looked at the owner's manual, and it talks about all that break-in stuff. And I even cheated on that. But about towing and stopping and going and racing the motor and shifting and braking hard and all this stuff, I don't know how they come up with all that. How you're supposed to drive it, if you can't, use the brakes or get up to highway speed on the freeway. She runs good. I'm from the old thinking. Drive it, break it in like you stole it, and that's the way it'll run forever. All these people that baby foot these cars, and most of them don't need to be broken in, but maybe these old school naturally aspirated big V8 motors have a way that they need to be seated and all that, and I'll agree with that. So I've driven it in every various combination you can imagine. I mean, I've hammered it, I've babied it, which is most of the time, because who's racing out here? Where are you going, right? But I want to change the oil because it comes with I believe it does regular oil. And I don't want to put synthetic in it yet. I will go to that. Let's see if I can open the hood with one hand. Also, did I show you my wheel well liners? They're really nice in the daytime now with the clouds, you can see. So no longer looking at a big open white area there in the frame of the truck. It's like the front tire, which was always dark, right here. And I got this lame brain idea of changing these tires out to some BF Goodrich KO2s until I got the sticker shock price. That isn't going to happen. And what more do you need to do? I mean, look at it, it's beautiful. Some people are talking about this thing right here. This lower air dam is really long. It's way down here. And on YouTube, guys were showing that go off-roading and they go down into a dip, that this would hit the ground sooner than if it wasn't on here, or they have another one on the trimmer that's about a 2-inch down. But if you take it off, apparently your gas mileage is not going to be as good. And if it gets any worse, I don't want anything to do with it. So I'll leave it on there, and I don't plan on doing really any off-roading that could be an issue. But if I did change it, they want $250 for a new one of these that's about that far down. So I'll leave it on. Some guys talk about taking those off because it's kind of like, you know, big, but you know what? It all helps in the black trim, right? What do you guys think about this? They want, I don't know, 60 bucks. There's these black inserts. You can get them in all colors. I'd go with black because of the black trim. They go in the Super Duty embossed area of the hood. There's also an embossing on the tailgate that you could put those letters in too. Would it be cool if that front end had Super Duty more pronounced by having the black inserts? Now, some of them are just tape, you know, that stick in there, and some of them are more of a stick-on thing, but they're a little bit raised, the higher quality ones. I'm thinking I wanted to do it, but they want forever to send it to me, and I'm getting ready to blow out. So that'll have to wait. Now, we were going to check and see if we know how to open a hood. Here it is. Look at that. Goes right up. I'll never be able to get it back down. All right. Who can see this thing? Let me show you guys. Let me bring you in here. This is the 6.8 liter Babyzilla motor. I watched a few videos this morning, and there's a guy on YouTube. He's pretty big on his, he's got a 2022 F250 with a 7.3. And here's a little bit of information for you. I don't want to bore the ladies, but there's two V8 motors you can get, a 7.3, the Godzilla, and this one that came out last year, a 6.8 liter Babyzilla. And it's the same motor with a shorter stroke. What does that mean? Couldn't tell you. But anyway, right there, SEA 5W30. That does not say full synthetic oil. 5W30 is regular synthetic blend or just regular motor oil. I like that. I like that these cars, you know, these new Toyotas and my Honda and all the new cars come with full synthetic. And it's a good oil, but it's not as cheap as the regular oil to buy. And this takes only 8 quarts. That's a little bit more than 5, but it's not like a 12-quart oil change. And it's a little tiny fill stick there, so you got to get a funnel and not make a mess to put the oil in. And underneath, apparently, it looks pretty easy to do it yourself. So I don't know. The owner's manual doesn't say anything about changing on the break-in. There's a lot of stuff about break-in, but there's nothing in the owner's manual that says change the motor oil out in 1,000 miles. And while that wouldn't hurt, to change it every 1,000 miles before you get off into a pissing match about it, about different people's opinions, but there's no requirement that they recommend whatsoever to change this oil in 1,000 miles. So I called the dealer, and I was very sorely disappointed that they wouldn't get back to me. I called them twice even to get a price on an oil change. And I was given the runaround, and I was told they would call me back, and they didn't. And I called them back and said, no, nobody called me back. And they didn't again. And then I was told that a service writer has to quote you that because they want to sell you stuff, I guess. I said, you mean you can't just tell me how much an oil change is? You don't have a menu over your desk in there of what services cost, like a transmission fluid change or oil change, you know, basic maintenance services. So, of course, I will never go to Ford for my maintenance. Of course, I'm going to go to Walmart and get the oil change where they're going to use a torque wrench, a pit, and put in the proper oil. And they do the services because unlike dealers or especially an independent that can try to get away with not changing your filter to make more money, Walmart's got cameras and their people are mandated to do what they tell them to do or they're out of there. They don't have to worry about cutting shortcuts and not doing what you're paying them to do. Walmart is the best. Walmart ain't got it, I don't need it. So I'll be going there to get the oil change, an 8-quart oil change of regular oil. If they want to put in a synthetic blend, then go ahead, go ahead. So I was going to talk about that. But here's the other thing that I wanted to do to the truck, the camper, that I got to brainstorm that's really important. I mean, in fact, I can't wait to get over to Harbor Freight and get the stuff I need. Wheel bearings, baby. Greasing my wheel bearings on the Crasher. All right, here's the deal. I got it. Here's the deal. Wheel bearings on boat trailers and camper trailers and all types of trailers have a Zerk fitting. What's a Zerk fitting? The ladies are like, you're boring us. Maybe some of you guys are too. It's a little tit that a gun goes on, a little hose or a tip of a grease gun that you squeeze grease out of into a cavity that keeps the bearings of when the wheel spins from getting heated up and burning out. So camper trailers, boat trailers and such, they have these fittings. Some are called buddy bearings. And what I understand is buddy bearings, while they're better than nothing, are kind of worthless. I wish I had the camper here. I'm pointing at it because it's not even back there. But the Flagstaff 25 FKBS has Dexter axles with easy grease fittings. What's the difference? While you can take the tire off the truck and take the bearings out and have a mechanic do it and take his hand and put the grease in his hand and scrape it over his hand and pack them in there like that. It's like from the old days, and it still works. It's still the best. But the torsion axles that I have on my camper have these grease fittings that I've learned that completely replaces all the grease, front and back, with a regular grease gun. They say don't use a pneumatic gun that pumps the grease in too fast. It can blow out the back of the bearing called a rear seal. So I won't be doing that. But I'm going to go to Harbor Freight and I'm going to buy a grease gun. Now this will be my second one. I bought a really high quality one from Harbor Freight. I know that doesn't sound right. Kind of an oxymoron, right? Good quality stuff from Harbor Freight. But it really was. And I left it with Teddy over in Boynton Beach. So my grease gun, his grease gun now, is over there. I just didn't want to schlep that thing around with all that grease and mess, and I was limited with my space. So I got rid of everything, because you guys know I'm a minimalist. I only have what I need. So I got to go buy another one, and I got to buy these tubes of grease. But before I even go to Harbor Freight, I'm going to take a look at the bearings. You take the little center cap off, and then one video I seen showed Zerk fittings around the leaf springs. But I don't have leaf springs with these Dexter torsion axles, these Dexter axles. So I won't have to grease that, I don't think. But the bearing, the way it works, these easy grease, this is a guy video, and not even all guys. But anyway, you pump the grease in, and it doesn't come out the back on these axles. It literally goes back and then back to you, pushing out all old grease. You have to wipe it out, it's kind of messy, and till you see the new grease come out, and now your bearings are completely repacked. Do it yourself. But the only thing I've got to do is I got to get out my jack from the Super Crusher here, from the Baby Zilla, the Crush Zilla, AKA 3 different names, and jack up my camper just enough that I can spin the wheel. You must spin the wheel slowly while pumping this grease in. So I've already got all educated about it. This is what I got to do today. This is on my agenda to get ready to start crushing some miles across this country with this amazing machine right here. This 4-wheel drive, 3/4 ton, beautiful truck with the 6.8 liter. And let's talk about that for a second. This guy I mentioned earlier that's on YouTube that has a 2022, I think he's got an XLT or better, and he has the 7.3 Godzilla motor. In 2023, last year, this motor came out. And in 2024, they changed this one thing that you can now use E85 yellow cap, ethanol, E85 gasoline. I think that might be ethanol. Whatever E85 is, if I see it, I can use it. So the 6.8 liter V8 is supposed to be a badass motor, baby. And I got it. And here's the deal, what I want to try and tell you. He did something, it's called the configurator. You go on Ford's website. In 2023, there was a shortage of these motors. They were in big demand. The 7.3 and prior to 2022 had some issues. Since then, they're good. So when they introduced the 6.8 liter Baby Zilla, Mini Zilla motor, you had to buy a high trim level, XLT, and let me see, how did it go? No. You could, yes, you couldn't get this motor unless you bought it until 2024 or later in 2023. It was only available, this motor is only available in the XL, which is what I have, a work truck, an entry-level basic Ford Super Duty 250. But if you bought an XLT, you could get it. No, you could get the 7.3 free, which was a $2,000 option. So there was a silver lining to it. You could get the bigger motor for free, which was $2,000 extra in the work truck, and this was a standard motor. But like I've said before, it's well known now, if you get this XL Ford F250 Super Duty truck and it's ordered and equipped with the STX package, which is $5,115, you get the best value of any Super Duty heavy duty truck on the market. Powertrain, transmission, equipment, styling, everything. It checks all the boxes. Believe me, the engine is awesome. The transmission is a different transmission than they put in the 7.3, but it's very good. And it's a 10-speed. The gas mileage, I did find out online, is supposed to be around 14 miles per gallon. That's about all it gets. And around 10.9 towing. It is what it is. There's no difference between the gas mileage of this Super Duty truck than the Toyota Tundra that I had. The only difference I've got is more power, more truck, heavier payload, more towing capacity, and new. So I couldn't be happier with it. I had this lame brain idea, as I said earlier in the video, about buying some KO2 Goodrich tires. There was a guy on YouTube the other day who kept calling them Goodrich. Because GM uses Goodrich, you know, as their slogan for their mechanics. Anyway, so if you just go with the regular 285 70 18, which comes on these 18-inch rims, and you spend $2,600 or $2,100 is what we got it down to for 4 tires, and you need 5 because if you get a flat, the tire is going to be bigger because they were essentially 33s. But they weren't really much bigger. I think they said they were a little taller and a little wider, so that is bigger, right? But these are pretty big, and this is how Ford built it, and they're on there, and I got $2,000 plus in my pocket that I don't have to spend on tires anywhere close to being now. But a lot of guys do immediately lift them up, spend godly, thousands of dollars doing that, and put these tires and wheels, which probably cost them $5,000-6,000, and then the winches and all these other expensive truck accessories. I mean, I put a tonneau cover on, and even those right there are expensive, these running boards. But yeah, you can see the factory price is 100 grand for some of these trucks, especially that diesel, and then you can spend another 50 grand, building it and all this stuff. Man. Before I end the video this morning, since we're talking techie and trucks and stuff, and I apologize for that, a little bit off the beaten path from our normal chat, I want to share with you something about a neighbor I have that I met. His name is Tony, and he is 80 years old, and he is from the Bradenton area most of his life. And he's bought and sold a couple of homes in his life. He's 80 years old. And he has a brand new fifth wheel that he just took delivery from General RV. And it's a Flagstaff. I think it's called a Vision Fusion. I think it's a Fusion. It's a blue and white. And he went and bought himself a brand new Ford 350 dually diesel Lariat. Okay? Paid cash for everything. He said he sold his house for 6 figures, and he went and bought that beautiful, it's a blue, dark deep sea blue metallic dually. The engine, that diesel is, it's whisper quiet. It just sounds like a sewing machine. It's hitting on all 8. And then he was telling about, he's 80 years old, and he was telling me about all the features that they showed him. He's got air conditioned seats. He's got the beautiful GPS screen, the infotainment center. It's got cameras everywhere. It can tow the house. And he's got a brand new truck and a brand new fifth wheel. In fact, he's getting ready to have the fifth wheel trailer hookup that goes in the bed of the truck on December 3rd because they had to order it in, and guess where he's going to get it? From A&A Trailer Hitch Center in Bradenton, Florida. And that's going to cost him. But he got all of his money, his change, in the bank. And he had a business in the area building, some stuff that I won't mention, but he did very well with it. Then his story is very interesting. I want to interview him. Mr. Tony is very cool. He's 80 years old, and let me show you my other toy. He has a bright banana yellow Can-Am. Do you know what a Can-Am is? It's those 3-wheel motorcycles that you sit on. There's one single mono wheel in the rear, and you have the 2 in the front. And he's 80. He said, I just said, to heck with it. I sold my house. I bought this beautiful truck. And guess what else he told me? That was the very first new vehicle he's ever bought in his life. And I'm so happy for Mr. Tony. And he's quite a character. I really did. I told him I want to interview him. I'm getting ready to leave town, so maybe I'll have to, find that time when I get back. And he said also he's still setting up his business, his camper and all. They came in, General RV, and delivered it with a fifth wheel truck and put it in, set it up for him. But he's got this gorgeous, everything is brand new. Now this trailer, he said, his fifth wheel, is a 2023, and he got it for half price. That's right. And he even walked out of one dealer trying to buy the Ford, and it was actually where I bought mine. Said he couldn't get together with them. They weren't dealing. Now remember I told you when I bought mine, they're kind of proud of them diesels, especially a loaded Lariat, because more people want the expensive ones than they do entry level. But a lot of people don't appreciate, or they got a bigger pocketbook than I do, the great value you get here with the STX package on the XL. But most people you see riding around have got them $100,000+ diesels, and most of them don't even really need that. He does. He's got a big fifth wheel camper. So is he going to tow it around and travel with it? Well, he rides a Can-Am motorcycle, and he's going to, you know, if something happens where he wants to move it from where he's at now, where I'm at, he's going to need a way. He's going to need a way to move it. So he's going to have that trailer hitch put on. And so kudos to him. So we got to talking about Social Security too. And I told him I was a YouTuber and I wanted to interview him, and that I'm a big advocate on collecting your Social Security at 62. And before I could even finish, he goes, "That's what I did." I said, "Really? Talk about it." So he said he was working and he had a job driving a fuel truck from Sarasota here to Fort Myers every day for 9 years, from like 4:30 in the morning till late at night. And he was a Johnny on the spot, loved his work, showed up every day, did his job. Then when he turned 62 years old, he said the boss called him in and said, "I want to talk to you." And he told him that he was not expendable, a liability. He said, "You're a liability because you're 62 now." He said, "What do you mean? He's got these younger guys here that don't even show up for work and don't even come in half the time and this and that. And I'm here at 4:30 in the morning and I've been doing this, you know, without any problem. I have no problem my driving." And so finally, he just said, "Screw you." And he handed him the keys. He goes, "You deliver it. You drive it tomorrow." He goes, the boss said, "Well, I don't know the route." He says, "Figure it out." So he just walked away, and then he continued doing his side hustle, which I don't want to mention what he did in town, independently, you know, independent contractor, self-employed, making plenty of money with his Social Security, and he's been living in this house, I guess, 30 years, and now the market is what it is, and we're in Florida, one of the strongest markets, and the rest is history. He said, "I sold it for 6 figures. I got this, I got that camper, and I've got my Can-Am. I'm just going to drive around. I'm not going to build those things that I was building, his little business he had. I'm done." And isn't that fantastic? And I'm very happy for him. I'm not jealous. I'm envious in the fact that that truck he's got is so darn beautiful. He had some older junk that they gave him $4 grand for, and he paid a difference of, get this, I don't mind telling you because he told me, he only gave $88,000 for that 24 dually Lariat diesel Ford truck. 350, baby, 350, 1 ton. So he went up to Brandon, Florida. And I met somebody else too that has a Honda Accord that said they couldn't get together with the dealer here in town, and they went to Brandon Honda. So Brandon, Florida has got a bunch of car dealers up there, I guess, that do some pretty good deals, especially if they see your address is from down south here, and they know that you may not ever come back. So when you go in there, they'll do everything they can to make a deal with you. So anyway, I'm very happy for Mr. Tony. He's got a gorgeous 1-ton Ford diesel. And I'm happy with mine though. I don't need a diesel to pull what I've got. I mean, it would pull it better, I'm sure, but I'm not gonna spend, you know, 100 grand. So let's close this hood up. Let's close this video up. Let's get some wax on this truck soon, right? Let's go here to the middle, close the bonnet properly. What do you guys think about the inserts on the embossed Super Duty? Or leave her like she is? Does she have enough looks of her own? She doesn't need any more modifications. There it is. Show you one more time. This gorgeous STX package. You got those beautiful black wheels. I got the locking nuts on here. I also have some special locking thing on my tailgate. Apparently they were stealing these tailgates left and right because they're aluminum. And you know, we always had that problem with the catalytic converter too. I mean, some people would rather steal $1 than earn an honest 5. Isn't it sad? So it's got the turn signals in the mirrors, you know, the black trim, the painted bumper, the high gloss grille. It's on more the LED lights. the fog lights, and you know, all this stuff that you get on, and the running boards. And then it's got the FX4 package. I think that consists of the skid plates underneath and the 10,500 pound GVW. Let's take a look at that right now and verify that. I'll take a look at the numbers with you one more time here in the door jamb. What it says is, well, who can see? Who can see? I got my see rights, so I can see right here. Let's put those on. Excuse the key and the ignition noise. Oh, did you know too, when you turn the ignition on in this truck, you just bump it over and let go, and it continues to start on its own. You don't have to sit there and hold it. And it's not a bump start. It turns over a couple of times, but it's got a pretty cool sound. All right, it's got the front axle 4400, rear axle 6340, and I saw it on here, I think, already. Gross vehicle weight. This is the tires, 18 by 18. Oh, there it is. Gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, 10,500 pounds. And the tire pressure, cold pressure is 60 and 65, and the spare is 65. So there you go. It's got that gross vehicle weight rating of 10,500 pounds because it's the FX4 that's part of that. And I think it's also part of this extra, that's what you get with this extra flat spring. Somebody was telling me and correcting me what that's called, that extra leaf spring there for the payload. And I'm loving this tonneau cover. Let's take a look and see if there's any water. It did rain a little bit, but that's mostly condensation and dew. There's my trailer hitch. I had a huge pool of water right there before. Hang on. Remember, right in here? Nothing. Do I see anything up there? No. I mean, it wasn't like a deluge. I didn't get a big rain last night, but it did rain a little, a sprinkle. So we really probably can't count it. But this seal, see now, before closing the gate, I have to open this right here and just flip that back and then close the gate, which is aluminum. It doesn't have the dampening gate. It'll fall right down, but it's very light. This LED light is amazing at night to light up everything. Here's that other embossing. You can put the Super Duty black decals on. I don't know if I want to do it or not, really. So now this rubber piece right here is going to make sure I've got this in that correctly. Right there. Okay. And all you do is this only snaps on one side here. There you go. And now you have this seal. These are coming in very handy here to get up on the truck with this grip right here. And also this step on the side here is very handy as well. So I'm going to be putting my generator back here and seeing if, see, let me just come out here. Right here is the first pole that goes across. There's 1, 2, 3. So I only have, here's the pole, this much width. I hope my generator is no wider than that, because this will pop up a little bit if it was just that much taller than the railing here. But if it fits down below it, I still got the pole underneath here that I've got to worry about that will take away the height. So hopefully it'll work out and get the generator back here. I'm definitely going to take it with me, even though I don't think that I probably really need it. And all these lights always come on when I open the door, these little parking lights. And those cool backwards C's. They're really nice. I have a front camera. Where is it? It's on here somewhere. If a man could see. I don't see it now. Oh yeah, there it is, right below the Ford, right there. So it's got the 360 camera. That's all part of the STX package. So you get quite a bit for 60 grand MSRP, and with a $2,000 rebate, another $4,000 discount, and that thing called holdback, if the dealer's willing to dip into that and sell you something, you can save $6,000+ off the price, in my opinion. So what does that take you down to? $54,000 plus the taxes. And if you have a trade-in, you'll save on that if you live in a state like Florida, where you only pay tax on the cash difference. But anywhere in the 50s, that is so much vehicle compared to what you pay for a new Acura or almost any luxury car. You know, really, they're up there. You can buy them in the 40s too, but what this can do, I love it. It definitely crushes it.